Good morning, good morning. Bix Weir, roadtoroota.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of coffee. It has been insane at the Road to Ruta lately. Thank you for all your great comments on the success of some of our investments, as well as people interested in hearing the story of Ruta and what's going to happen in the future to our monetary system. What happened in the past is even more interesting. Um, and I am announcing today an epic roundtable conversation is planned for Saturday with Bill Holter, Jim Sinclair, Dave Kranzler, I believe, myself, and Clif. And I cannot wait for this one. It's going to be epic. It will be posted on YouTube at some point. And I mean, I cut my teeth on learning about gold from Jim Sinclair, and now we have completely opposite views. So it won't be a contentious discussion. It will be a roundtable discussion. Hopefully, I don't think they'll change their position on gold, and I know I'm not going to change my position on the cryptos and its role. But we will just delve into some really exciting information on, and hopefully, what I would like to do from this conversation is to fuse the two uh, conflicting opinions about gold as a store of wealth, as a means of exchange. Obviously, means of exchange is more difficult, and Bitcoin's role and the cryptocurrency's role, and where this is going to take us in the future. And that's what we really care about when you're investing. You're looking at the future, not the past. Um, but obviously, the past does come into play, and I think the old term, "this time it's different." Um, if I was, Bill and Jeff, I'd say, "Well, we heard that so many times. This time is different." But we can describe to them why it's different. We've always known that gold wasn't the best form of money. It was the best form of money up until the cryptos came around. It wasn't a perfect form of money, obviously, and every gold book you read will say, gold is not a perfect form of money, but it's the best we've got. I've read a lot of books on gold going back. I have books and essays from the 1700s and 1800s that I've read that absolutely they say the same thing every time. Gold is not a perfect form of money, but it's the best we got. Well, now we have something that's better, in my opinion. And hopefully we can discuss it on a rational basis. I know these guys are very rational, and they have their opinion and their studied opinion. Absolutely, these guys are brilliant in that world, in the old world. Luckily, I have Clif to, if we get into technical stuff on Bitcoin, why it's so good, why the SHA-256 crypto hash cannot be cracked. Cracked is not even the right word, and they're going to use the word hacked. I know all the time. And you cannot hack Bitcoin because it's open source. It's already hacked. It's wide open there for everybody to see. So that's always a term that people who aren't really familiar with the cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin use that word. Oh, it can be hacked. You can't hack something that's already open and there for everybody to see. That's the key. You have to trust people that understand code, that can read this open source code that is Bitcoin and the Bitcoin protocol and consensus, which is extremely important so that everybody's on the same page. But no, it can't be hacked or cracked. It's already wide open, so it's already been hacked. But you can have problems with wallets, exchanges, all kinds of stuff can go on. Absolutely. So it's going to be just an amazing discussion, and I will let you guys know when it is posted, and I'll probably put out a video letting you know how it went. I have no idea where we're going to go with this discussion, but in my mind, I see it as the first step in merging the two worlds, because we have absolutely the same goal in mind: to take out the unbacked criminal monetary system that we currently live in. And we just have two different tools of which to attack the problem. Gold is an old time tested tool that has always been turned to in the past when monetary systems fail. Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies are a new tool. And I think actually a better tool now. It wasn't the better tool in 2010, 2011. It's come a long way as far as security and adaptability and all these things that we fight for every day. And literally, the cryptocurrencies and software in general is anti-fragile, meaning that every time it breaks, you can fix it, and it gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And we hit that point. I think sometime in 2015, we've hit the point where it was strong enough, and people were knowledgeable enough such that all the hacks kind of attempted hacks kind of went away. They didn't go away. They're still out there. It's a stronger system now. And that was kind of the time that the good guys, as I call them, said, hey, we can really try to implement this blockchain-based, trust-based system into not implement it into the old system, create it alongside the other system. So we have an unbacked fiat system here and a brand new, still a baby, crypto system based on blockchain technology trust. And that's what's growing, and this is what's dying. So we have a baby in diapers here, probably out of diaper, toddler now, and we have an old, decrepit, crumbling, suffocating system over here. And I'm with the toddler. I think it's, after years of researching it, took me a while to come around, but hopefully I can show at least these old time friends of mine what I'm thinking and what a lot of people who are moving from the gold and silver space over to the cryptos, what they're thinking. No, it does not affect the price of gold and silver, that all this money is going into the cryptos. That I've heard that said a couple times, and no, if all this money was going into gold and silver would be the exact same price that they are today. They are controlled and rigged via computers and derivatives, unlimited amounts of computers and derivatives. In silver on the COMEX, it's 300 times the total supply. It's traded every year. That's all electronic. So, whether or not a couple billion goes over here, a couple billion goes over there, doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter at all to the price of gold and silver because they're rigged every day in every trade. They don't have to rig it all the time. They just set a top and bottom floor in their computer systems, and they say, okay, dump as many contracts as needed to keep silver below $20, and they give it a range, and that's done out of the basement of the U.S. Treasury and the Fed New York, along with the bullion banks that assist in this process that's been going on since the 60s, since Alan Greenspan invented the very first computer programs to create our monetary system. And he did it with his best friend, John Kimmony's computer program called BASIC, programming language called BASIC. And that's what RUTA is, Root A. It came from the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. Yes, it's a comic book, but it's also a term in computer programming. And remember that Alan Greenspan blamed himself for the Y2K problem, the 2 digits instead of 4. So that has been a key in the road to RUTA theory, is that the system has been in control by the computers and by the derivative markets ever since the 60s and 70s, when Arthur Burns brought Alan Greenspan in to help rig the system. That's how we were able to go off the gold standard and never go back. Another problem with what Jim and Bill and those guys, the true gold bugs, they're getting older, and it's not their fault, but everybody's born since the early 1970s has no clue what gold is in a monetary form. No clue at all. It would take a vast retraining of humanity. You got a huge population between 0 and 45 years old that have no idea what gold and money have in common or why. So can we teach humanity the importance of gold, or can we just move on? Hey, you can use your cell phone to make purchases, which is what the youth of today and anybody up into their 40s, and my mom has a cell phone that she uses, and she's up there. I'm not going to give away mom's age, but yeah, that the world has changed, and is humanity ready to be retrained to think of gold as money again? I don't believe so. So we will see how that discussion goes. Obviously everybody's been sending me emails. They're very excited about this. I'm not looking for a winner, but looking for an honest discussion of the difference between the cryptos and gold as money, the transition that has happened so far, and where it will take us. Most importantly, where it will take us. So I'm very excited about that. And also, let's take a quick look this morning at where the cryptos are. We have Bitcoin hovering at 8,243 plus 1,283. Yes, I count Bitcoin as both Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin right now is at 9,500. And the reason I count Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash together is that I don't know which one is going to be ultimately the Bitcoin that is used by humanity for the next 50 years. And there's good reason for that. So I'd rather stay away from it for the most part. I love Litecoin. I think Litecoin will be extremely useful for humanity going forward. I think it's massively undervalued. Right now it's at $71 with a almost $4 billion market cap. I think it should be 1/4 of the Bitcoin market cap. Bitcoin market cap, both together, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, right now it's at $159 billion, so a fourth of 150, call it 160, make the math easier. Litecoin should be up at $40 billion market cap, in my opinion, 1/4 of Bitcoin market cap. So that would put Litecoin almost 10 times where it is now. It's very much the silver to gold thing all over again. So I think Litecoin right now, according to the Bitcoin market cap, Bitcoin plus Bitcoin Cash, hold on one second. People trying to call me when I'm doing my morning horn of Z's. So that puts Litecoin 10 times where it is today. 71, it should be up in the $700 range, in my opinion. I think it will be at some point. And I'm excited about that. And Charlie Lee is an upstanding guy. He's not fighting too much against Bitcoin Cash, but Bitcoin Cash, remember, Bitcoin Cash is a competitor of Litecoin. And because Bitcoin Cash is going to be faster and cheaper. And that was the whole idea behind Bitcoin Core taking SegWit into a place where it kind of locks up Bitcoin safer, like a gold type of thing where you stick your gold in the ground. Bitcoin Cash came out. Roger Ver was a huge proponent, and I get where he's coming from. I absolutely do. And Bitcoin was created by Satoshi Nakamoto. Now, who is Satoshi? Do I think it was NSA, CIA, Federal Reserve? Absolutely. They are knee-deep in it. Do I think Alan Greenspan was involved? The world's most proficient computer programmer, the best, the guy who created electronic money in the 1960s and 70s, and even admits it in his book. Was he involved in money and computers back in the 80s and 90s when the initial electronic cash free of government was started? Absolutely. Greenspan was knee-deep in it. So is Satoshi Nakamoto Alan Greenspan? I don't think so. I think Satoshi Nakamoto is that guy, Darian Nakamoto. But I think he was working with a group, absolutely, also. So, and Greenspan was knee-deep in that world back then. And most people have no idea about Greenspan. His past, the biggest gold bug in the world, turned Federal Reserve chairman. Everybody said, oh, he's just a hack. He opens his mouth and nothing comes out. And he just printed money like he's going out of style. Absolutely he did. His whole idea was to destroy the system and move to a sound form of money. And he tried to do it in 2 months after he got put as the head of the Fed in the stock market crash of 1987. Absolutely computer controlled. When they did the forensics a couple of months later, they said, oh my God, it's all these computer bots are trading back and forth. Alan Greenspan, my friends. So we move on and life moves on, and we are looking at the future. We're trying to analyze the future when you're making investments and when we're trying to change the system. We can't move backwards. It's too late to move backwards. And no other currency in the world has failed more times than gold. That's something to kind of keep in the back of your mind. No other currency has failed more times than gold because it was always the best. and everybody fell back to gold when they screw up a paper system or whatever they wanted to change for the monetary system. It always went to gold, but then gold always failed, because look at us today. It failed again in 1971. Actually, probably long before that, probably the creation of the Federal Reserve, which is another story that I'll be talking about at the Anarchapulco conference. Anybody going down there, love to hook up when I'm down there. We're thinking about putting a little cocktail party together, or dinner or something. But yes, definitely, I'll put some links up for Jeff Berwick's huge event in Acapulco. It's in February, and it's a blast. A really good time with really good people. And it's not just monetary stuff. That's a very small part, and it's not just cryptos. Although that's a bigger part these days, obviously. Everybody, a lot of people running around promoting the cryptocurrencies and a different way of dealing with society outside of the government. You must use this as money. And so in 1 year, Bitcoin's gone up what? The cryptos have gone up 10 times practically. I haven't run the numbers, but it's gonna be a monster. And yeah, it's gonna be a great time down there. But I'm gonna be talking about the history of the Fed and all that. So a lot going on, crazy going on at the Road to Ruta. Absolutely flooded with new subscribers looking to get these things right here, the 15 cryptos for the future that I've done my homework on. And a lot of people are saying, well, you don't know which to pick. It's like the dot-com boom in the 90s. Half the companies went out of business. Absolutely. I do think, half the cryptos will probably go out of business if there's no use case for them, and they don't have management, and they're not a Ponzi scheme, or they're a Ponzi scheme, they're going to go out of business. Absolutely. So I've done the homework on these 15, and you don't need a million cryptos. Just pick the best ones. Yes, some of the smaller ones will have something happen. All of a sudden, it goes up 1,000%. Something good happens. So that's the argument for spreading your cryptos around everything. Is you're going to have a lot of losers, but you can have the monster winners. But I do think these 15 are long term, meaning more than 5 years. And some of them have products just about to hit the marketplace. When that will be a huge thing in 2018 is when people understand that Bitcoin it's not just Bitcoin. It's blockchain technology being injected into businesses and the crypto tokens and things like that. I think there's going to be some huge moves in some of these really amazing companies that are replacing these antiquated forms of business like banking, and how much expense is in banking with lawyers and accountants and project managers and you name it, buildings and infrastructure and all the wasted money. These companies can inject smart contracts into that and take care of all that. And you don't need lawyers when you have smart contracts, for the most part. And all the documentation that's needed. It's just insane. And this new world is building up at very little expense compared to what they're taking out. Advertising, online advertising is going to be a monster, absolute monster. That's one of the 15 cryptos that I think is a company that is poised to just take over that multi-hundred, I think it's $200 billion business. So yeah, that's why people have been signing up at the Road to Ruta. That's why I'm so busy. And I also have the Road to Ruta timeline, price predictions for 2018, and kind of where I see the battle between the good guys and the bad guys, how it will play out over next year. Really exciting stuff at the Road to Ruta. Don't forget to tune in to Hump Day. I'm speaking with V at 1 o'clock Eastern time, and he does it live. Go to the Rogue Money YouTube channel, and you can hear us live talking about some of the stuff and other things. He's got a lot going on too, a lot of changes over at Rogue Money, and it's a very exciting time for everybody involved. And you're going to get involved in the cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. You're going to. The question is, do you want to do it early, or do you want to do it when other people get in by July? I think Clif's data has 3% of the population getting into the cryptos. Right now it's less than 1%. So yeah, monster 2018. So keep studying, keep learning. If you have any questions about cryptos, just go to YouTube, type in your question. You're going to see a video on it. because these high-tech guys love making videos and explanations of how to log into Ether Delta and buy some cryptos, and how to buy on Coinbase or Gemini or Poloniex or whatever you're using. Shapeshift. I love Shapeshift. Anyway, this is Bix Weir, roadrunner.com. I'll talk to you later.